Hello everyone, welcome to part 22 module 1 computer networks. So we already seen an overview of the ISO OSA reference model, the 7 layers, and we just got an idea in means how these functionalities can be grouped into different layers. And now we will see each layer in detail. A particular layer we start with its major functionality and the protocols, if any, important protocols, if any, their protocol data units and the major devices. So in that way we can see the layers one by one. So we start our discussion from the layer 1, that is a physical layer, and all those things that we will be I listed and I will be discussing here, we already seen, so I'll be going a little bit faster at this point. So the lowest layer of the ISO OSA reference model is the physical layer, and it is responsible for the actual physical connection between the devices and transmitting raw bits over the communication channel. The actual connection, that is by means of the media. The wired or the wireless media is taken care by the physical layer, and the communication in the form of raw bits. The design issues have to do with making sure that when one side sends a bit to 1, it is received by the other side as bit 1 itself and not as a 0 bit. So if 1 is being sent by the sender and it's being interpreted by the receiver as 0, then there is no communication at all. So what is being sent by the sender is misunderstood by the receiver, it will be interpreted in a different way. So that should not happen. If 1 is being sent by the sender, it should exactly receive at the receiver as 1. It should not receive as 0. Similarly for 0. So that is a main design issue. Now other than that, many questions will come into our mind when it comes to physical layer design, like the many decisions that a designer or the network architecture designer has to taken care, like what electrical signal should be used to represent 1 and a 0, in the sense whether you will be representing 1 by a plus 5 voltage and 0 by a minus 5 voltage, or 1 by plus 5 or 0 by just 0 voltage, like that. What electrical signal level or what kind of signal can be used to represent the binary information 1 and 0 when the digital information is signal encoded at the physical layer. And this encoding, those things you already know in your data communication classes. Now, how many nanoseconds a bit lasts? What about the duration or the time period of a bit? That is indirectly going to decide the speed of communication or the frequency. Many things will be affected by it. Whether the transmission may proceed simultaneously in both direction or not. Half duplex and full duplex communication, and of course simplex communication. If you are looking at full duplex communication, from the sender to receiver and from the receiver to sender side, the communication is happening simultaneously, and whether you really need it or not, that is another one. What kind of mode of communication you want to implement. Now how the initial connection establishment is going to happen, and how it is torn down when both sides are finished, how the disconnection will happen, how many pins the network connector has, even minute details like the network interface card and the network connector devices, and how many pins they should have depending on the type, number of functionality they have to provide, and what each pin is supposed to do. In that way, many physical layer or the lower layer issues were handled at this point. Now these design issues largely deal with the mechanical, electrical and timing interfaces, as well as the physical transmission medium which lies below the physical layer. The layering concept, we start from it means the physical layer itself, but below physical layer we have the actual communication media, right, or the wired or the wireless medium, and what kind of physical transmission media used, that is going to affect all these decision making. And or in short, you can say that it depends on the mechanical, electrical and timing interfaces which we are using. Now the functionalities of the physical layer, like bit synchronization, I just pointing out only all those things you already know. The physical layer provides a synchronization of the bits by providing a clock. This clock controls both sender and the receiver, thus providing synchronization at bit level. This thing again, I think I discussed in data communication in more detailed way, like how the I mean, from the sender side, a clock of communication, the same clock of communication should be there in the receiver side also. Because from the sender point of view, this is the point at which the signal particular bit begins and this is where it ends. The receiver should also tune in the same way. So that is something taken care by the physical layer. We can call it as bit synchronization and bit rate control. The physical layer also defines the transition rate, that is the number of bits being transmitted per second, and this is again a decision which is taken based on the type of cable you are using and other technologies you are having. And of course the physical topology decision making will be happening at this point. The physical layer specifies the way in which the different devices or the nodes are arranged in a network, that is whether you have to follow bus, star or mesh topology, and such decision making will be happening at this level. Yes, the physical topology and the transition mode, like what we already seen. The physical layer also defines the way in which the data flows between two connected devices, whether you want the mode of communication to be simplex, half duplex or full duplex, and if so, how it is to be implemented. All those things were taken care by physical layer. Oh. Here I thought of putting some points to remember, like if you look at the devices like hub, repeater, modem, cables, you can view them as physical layer devices. So if somebody is asking you, can you mention some of the devices which are using at the physical layer, you can say this modem which is doing this modulation and demodulation, the cables of course, and this repeater is something that you have to remember, like the one which is doing the regeneration of the signal, right? It's not amplification, just regeneration. After traveling certain distance, the signal start attenuating, and at that point you can use a repeater and you can regenerate and you can increase the length of communication. And hub will act as a connection point where many devices get connected at the hub, and from there communication will go to. So just like look at that star topology, the one who is sitting at the middle can be thought of as a hub. So at a very basic level, these are all physical layer devices. Now the physical layer along with the data link layer and network layer, that is network layer, data link layer and physical layer, together known as the lower layers of the ISO-OSI layer or the hardware layers, because they are mainly dealing with the hardware, something we already seen. And if you look at the physical layer, protocol data unit, what is it? It is bits, the basic unit of information that is being handled by them. And simply one question like this, at which layer the signal encoding and decoding is happening? Again physical layer, because encoding signal decoding in the sense this digital to analog encoding and similarly analog to digital decoding, so that process. And the encoding decoding many techniques like Manchester, differential Manchester, all those things we already seen in our data communication classes. So that about physical layer. You may get a question like explain this ISO is a reference model in detail, maybe an essay question, and that time you can point out all these important points and you can explain each layer. And similarly when you look at the data link layer, which is the next layer, layer 2, it is responsible for the node to node delivery of the message or hop to hop delivery. So node here means that hop. Not the host. Host for the end point of communication. Node means intermediate nodes also, right? Node to node delivery of message. The main function of this layer is to make sure data transfer is error free from one node to another over the physical layer. The error free communication, the CRC technique that we already seen in the data communication class, that is the cyclic redundancy check, is something that you can use at the data link layer for doing this error control. So that is the main technique we are using, or we can think of other techniques even. Anyway, some way the error control should happen at the data link layer. it should taken care, because it is the one which is dealing with the hop to hop communication. So when a packet arrives in a network, it is a responsible of the data link layer to transmit it into the host using MAC address. So like what we already seen, if you look at network layer, which is taken care of the host to host communication, the IP address or the logical address it will be looking into, but this data link layer is actually dealing with the communication of one hop to the next one. So it will be looking at the permanent physical address of that particular nodes, intermediate nodes, or intermediate the next hop machine. So that is a physical address, and MAC address is one well known physical address, in the sense, in the operating system, that physical address and logical address concept, the same concept. When it comes to main memory, the actual address associated with it is what we call as a physical address. Here also, when it comes to the communication, the address which you can depend immediately at every hop is the physical address. And there are many physical address concepts, and MAC address is one of them, and it is widely used. The media access control, MAC means media access control address, which is the one, it is a 48-bit number that is being hard coded or burnt in your network interface card. It's a permanent number that is associated with every device which is getting part of the network. So that is one way, and even you can use a random number generator, and you can generate number and you can make it a physical address, that also fine. But when you are doing so, means something else you have to take in. So MAC address is something that is what we are systematically using as a physical address in the data link layer, and mainly that Ethernet and all is using this MAC address. And the data link layer, if you want, you can divide into two sub layers further. Because it is having a number of functionalities, so people divided further into two sublayers, like the logical link control sublayer and the media access control sublayer. So from the name itself, you can see that the MAC sublayer, the media access control sublayer, is dealing with the access of the actual physical media. So the access control will be taken care by the media access control sublayer, and by looking at the MAC address, it will be doing that delivery of the data. And when it comes to logical link control LLC layer, it will be doing some higher layer services, like it will be providing some services to the layer above it. It can do this error control. It will be taken care taken care of the flow control. Those things will be done by the logical link control, and if time allows, we will see this functionality even in more detail. So for the time being, it is like you can divide. So logical link control and media access control. Media access control is the one which is taking care of the access control of the communication media you are having, and the delivery of the message by looking into MAC address. Logical link control will be taking care of this flow control and error control functionality, and of course the division of the data into units called frames, or simply framing, and the decision making, like what could be the frame boundary, how to form the header of a frame, trailer of a frame, all those things will be taken care by the logical link control. Media access control is purely for accessing the media. The packet received from the network layer is further divided into something called frames, that is the protocol data unit of this layer, depending on the frame size of the network interface card. What is the size being supported by the network interface card in a particular network, local area network. If it is Ethernet, I already told you the frame is having a maximum size of 1500 byte for the message part, and some 18 byte header minimum. Totally some 1518 could be the total size of a frame minimum, right? I mean 1500 is the maximum payload size. Header size some 18 byte to some variation is there. Yeah, 40 byte around, I am not remembering. We have to see the header of data link layer protocol, particularly the Ethernet, and that time we will see that. So data link layer also encapsulates senders and receivers MAC address in the header. The receiver's MAC address is obtained by placing something called an ARP request, the Address Resolution Protocol, ARP, and onto the wire asking who has this particular IP address, and the destination host will reply with its MAC address back. So this is something I think you have to understand that IP and the MAC address concept in detail, and that time we will see. As for the time being, it is like this: the logical address, the popular one we are having is IP address, and physical address, the MAC address we are having. So the conversion from logical address to physical address. So normally by default for the communication this IP address is available now, because this that is the publicly knowing one is the IP address. When it comes to network interface card, hardwired MAC address, that is something not globally knowing, that is just local to that particular LAN only. So every time someone has to taken care of this, like some kind of mapping should be there from the IP address to MAC address, and this table everything will be taken care by this ARP protocol, and this is the one which is which will tell you correctly what is the next hop MAC address given the IP address of that particular machine. So that will be done by the ARP protocol, address resolution protocol. So don't worry about this protocol at this point, it is there in your subsequent module, and that time we will see this in detail. Again, it's a popular protocol that is being used at the data link layer. Now the functionalities were like framing, what we already seen. The framing is a function of the data link layer, where it provides a way for a sender to transmit a set of bits that are meaningful to the receiver, and this can be accomplished by attaching special it can be accomplished by attaching special bit pattern to the beginning and end of the frame, like how to identify the frame boundary and how it will distinguish the frame boundary, so that the receiver can start reading it as a new frame, and where it has to stop, that the start of the frame delimiter, the end of the frame delimiter, and many things were there as part of the frame, and a particular pattern you chosen as the delimiter pattern for identifying the beginning and end of the frame. Now this end of the frame delimiter is something very important, in the sense whenever the one who is started reading the frame reaches the end of frame delimiter, it will stop reading and it will wait for the next frame. Now if the end delimiter pattern is coming in the original message itself, what we will do, and that is a very serious issue, and all those things will be tackled as part of the framing concept, and when we look into this data link layer in the next module, we will see this in detail. Now the physical address, the data link layer is handling the physical address, like what I already told you. After creating frames, data link layer adds something called a physical address, and MAC address is one popular physical address of the sender and the receiver in the header of each frame. Error control is another functionality. The data link layer provides a mechanism of error control in which it detects and transmits the damaged, retransit damaged or the lost frame. So detection and retransition is the most useful and used technique than correction, something you know, right? The total time taken for detection and retransition is normally negligibly small compared to the correction time. So that is why mostly we will prefer this detection and retransition, particularly in computer network. The flow control, as you already know, the data rate must be constant on both sides, else the data may get corrupted. The speed matching should be there. The speed at which the sender is sending the data, with the same speed the receiver should tune with the communication. The flow control coordinates that amount of data that can be sent before receiving acknowledgement. Means in the sense after how many communication that acknowledgement frames are to be issued. You know, for flow control, the simplest technique is keeping a buffer, but once a buffer overflows, what we will do? The only way we can do this is by informing the sender somehow that I am not able to match with your speed, you please slow down if the sender is too fast. So in that way, so the one way of communicating such feedback back to the sender is acknowledgement, so you can depend on that. Access control, of course, another functionality. All those things are very important, and we need more time to understand them in detail. Of course, our second module is mainly dealing with the flow control aspects of the data link layer and access control, of course. Access control, when a single communication channel is shared by multiple devices, and we call it as a broadcast link, right? Otherwise, it is point-to-point link. So this is a single communication channel being shared by multiple devices, it will be in the broadcast mode only. And the MAC supplier of the data link layer helps to determine which devices has control over the channel at a given day. So at any time, who will have that communication is determined by the access control algorithm. If no such algorithm is running, if you allow everyone to communicate at the same time, definitely they will collide each other and the communication will not be properly proceeding. So access control is one way of controlling the access to the media and having communication without collision, or a careful observation of the collision and taking care of the some way of dealing with the collision. And similarly, something that you can remember from data link layer, the packet in data link layer is referred as frame. So packet is like what I already told you, is a general terminology, or you can use that a protocol data unit of layer 2 is frame, or the basic building block or basic unit of communication at this data link layer is frame. The data link layer is handled by the network interface card and device drivers of the host machine. So they are directly dealing with the network interface card and the device drivers of the host machine, and the actual coding is coming as part of OS only. The switch and bridge are the data link layer devices mainly. Switch, we will see how a switch is different from hub. Hub is just a connection point, but switch is something more intelligent in the sense it can selectively communicate the data, right, or filter the data. That switching will be done in a more intelligent way than just a connection point like a hub. And bridge is the one which can do, in addition to switching, it can do the protocol conversion also. So bridge is something that you can use at the boundary of two different LANs. For example, right now you are using an Ethernet LAN and you want to have your communication with a neighbor token ring LAN. So the bridge can be used in between, so that from the Ethernet it is having a header, it will interpret the information from the header and it will remove that Ethernet header and it will append the token ring header. Suppose the next one for communication is following token ring, and it will proceed with the communication. So this protocol conversion of the header, or the header conversion, is something done by this device bridge. So that is what makes it more intelligent than just a switch. Anyway, these two devices are coming in layer 2 only. And of course, data link layer addressing, the most popular one that you have to depend is the MAC address. And some of the popular protocol, the automatic repeat request ARQ, sliding window protocol SWP, sliding window protocol, the access control protocol like carrier sense multiple access with here it is CD, CSMA bar CD, carrier sense multiple access with the collision detection, that is CD. And of course the ARP protocol, reverse ARP, all those things you can think of as a data link layer protocol. ARP is something you have to keep in mind. The ARP itself, we have the network layer version and data link layer version. Mostly the traditional ones are data link layer ARPs, but as of now what we have is this ARP is being implemented in the network layer. Yeah, so that about it, that about the physical and the data link layer. Now in the next video we will see subsequent layers. Thank you.